All right, Mix 1041 WCLE and also MixTV.tv. We have our friends Jay and Brittany Hagee with Allon Planning Partners in the studio. How are you all today?
Good morning. Doing great, Bridget.
Wonderful.
How are you?
Good. So great to see both of you. So here we are in the month of April, spring cleaning.
Yeah.
How does that relate to finances?
Well, it's funny. I read an article this week. It talked about how neuroscientists said that spring cleaning can actually help our health. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Let's dig into that a bit more. And it was intriguing because it was especially for women. This was targeted to this group of women. And it was because when women walk into a room, really anyone, but they did say it's higher for women, walk into a room where it's kind of chaotic or messy, cortisol levels spike. And cortisol is called the stress hormone. It's not really something you want more of. So if we can keep that hormone down, it can help in a lot of ways, mental health, emotional health. And I'm like, it's got to be the same way with our finances, that when we are in an environment or a situation when it comes to our finances where things are kind of in disorder or chaos, or you don't know where things are, you don't know how you're supposed to pay this bill or that bill, or you don't know which investment to draw from for income in retirement, it kind of produces this same thing. The stress hormone increases, right? And so we want to help diffuse that. And we can talk about that by bringing some organization and structure to your financial situation, which is what we do day in and day out with folks.
Yeah.
Helping bring some stability, maybe consolidating their situation. So, for example, everybody's got a junk drawer. Or maybe it's a junk bag or a junk table where all the papers land, or the mail, or, you set your bags down when you get home and it kind of just easily collects. It's so easy to do that with like financial statements, information with our bank account or receipts or tracking our spending, all of those things. But if we can just bring a bit of order, it doesn't have to be crazy and, perfectly structured, but if we can just bring some order and organization to that, it really can make a difference, not
peace.
just in our financial situation, but in our mental state.
Yeah.
Because so many folks are stressed and worried about money, whether it's running out in retirement, or how do I take distributions, or how do I make sure I pass this on to whoever I want to receive it, whatever it is. But if it's taken care of and in order, it really does bring peace of mind and ease to your mental, emotional state. But then also, of course, it's got a financial implication as well.
Yeah, and sometimes us men can live in organized chaos at some stance.
So can women. It
because
really goes
we know,
for all of us.
But it's not that it's the most healthy thing to do, right? And that's kind of what she was reading about our health. But we met with a couple just the last couple weeks that had about 18 accounts in 10 different organizations, let's just say. And so we were looking through that, and they didn't even know where half of their accounts were. And so it kind of felt they were stressed out, basically knowing like, I don't even know how our money's working for us, right? So we take and consolidate that and say, how can we look and maybe do some spring cleaning to where your finances are, not just where they're at physically, but how they're positioned, how they're allocated, what they're doing for you, so that you have more peace of mind that your accounts are working in the same direction and not counterbalancing each other or counteracting each other in a negative way. So we want to make sure that when we set with folks, not just that they know all of their accounts and where they're at, but they know how they're positioned and that they're working the correct way for them.
Yeah, and the key word there is positioning. How those funds are positioned will determine the outcome. It will determine the loss, the return, the overall yield. The positioning is what matters most. A lot of folks think that, well, I've got accounts in so many different places, they must be diversified.
Not true.
But that's not the case. That what makes them diversified or not is how they're positioned within
That's
those
right.
accounts. Because every one of those 10 accounts at 10 different places and 10 different true accounts could be working in the same way, all going up at the same time, all going down at the same time. And there's no diversification. They could be structured the same way. So bringing true diversification through positioning and knowing how you're positioned.
There's a lot of spring cleaning that we can help folks with, right? It can be whether how have all our accounts working together, like kind of like we just talked about, our positioning. Maybe it's our spending plan that needs to get cleaned up, or how we're spending dollars versus making and are we positioning our dollars in the right savings accounts and the right type of retirement vehicles. There's a lot of
maybe
spring
it's
cleaning.
tax planning.
That's
not
a
just
big one.
tax paying. I know
Yep.
we're wrapping up tax season here. It's not just about
it's a big
paying
one.
taxes. It's about planning for taxes, which means tax time is not the only time we should be thinking about taxes. It's looking ahead for how will the way my investments are positioned today, how will that impact, yes, my taxes this year, but also 3 years from now, also 5 years from now. What about 10 years from now? So considering that as well, and bringing some structure and some true planning
Help to bring
to the
peace.
tax
Yeah.
side. Yeah. Right.
We're talking with Jay and Brittany Hagee with Allon Planning Partners, 423-315-1441, online at allonplanning.com. And we've talked about this, of course, today, but also before. It's so important to be organized in your finances, to be intentional about it. You guys are a one-stop shop for people, aren't you?
That's right. We the way we like to kind of illustrate it is we kind of quarterback your financial team. So we oversee the investment advisory portion, and then we have an awesome network of professionals, CPAs, estate law attorneys,
Right.
Medicare specialists that all specialize in those specific areas. And what we want to ensure is that folks have those network of professionals that are working together and
right.
not working independently. We want the left hand to know what the right hand's doing, and we come into play to help all of those pieces fit together to produce a true comprehensive plan. Not just investment
That's right.
advising, not just estate planning, not just your healthcare or Medicare planning, but all of it.
Comprehensive
Yeah,
approach.
a true comprehensive approach, taking the 10,000-foot view, saying, what's the big picture look like, and then helping you put those pieces together to make the puzzle complete.
All right. Again, that is Jay and Brittany Hagee, Allon Planning Partners. Before we wrap up here, anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, just want to give folks an opportunity. If you're listening and you think you need some spring cleaning done with your finances, let us come in and help you with that, right? Come in for a complimentary consultation. You can claim
And
that
listen,
consultation.
I gotta say, you hear spring cleaning and you're like,
Yeah.
I do. I mean, like, I'm like, oh,
not-
spring. I don't
not
want to
the most
spring
fun.
clean. That's the last thing I want to do. But listen, we actually enjoy what we do, and it's not. It doesn't have to be heavy and like overwhelming and daunting. We want
It
to
actually
bring.
can be freeing.
We can bring
Yeah.
some energy and some life and freedom to your situation because of it. So when you hear that, don't let that trigger. Oh no, washing windows and deep cleaning baseboards. No, we will walk you through it. We'll do the heavy lifting.
That's right.
You just bring your information, you bring your story, you bring your goals. We'll do the heavy lifting and walk you through the process.
That's right. So you can go to allonplanning.com, ALLON planning.com. You can schedule your consultation right from there, or you can reach out to us directly, 423-315-1441. That's 423-315-1441.
All right. That's Jay and Brittany Hagee, Allon Planning Partners. Thank you all both so much, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Bridget.
Thank you.
Investment advisory services are offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The content provided is intended for informational and educational purposes only. The views, statements, and opinions expressed herein are those of the individual speakers and not necessarily those of Foundations and its affiliates. The information contained herein does not constitute an offer to sell any securities or represent an express or implied opinion or endorsement of any specific investment opportunity, offering, or issuer. Any discussion of performance or returns is not indicative of future results. Each individual investor's situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Foundations only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. No legal or tax advice is provided. Always consult with a tax professional. All rights reserved.